Hello, this is Lorrie Jonas, and I am an art journal artist. I do mixed media, all kinds of stuff, but for right now, I'm on Robin's Nest, and I was asked to do art journaling. And so I have random pages like this, and I just put, when I have extra ink or anything, I put it down on my art journaling page. I don't have many, just a couple. And I wanted to teach you a technique. It's a technique that I use quite often, and it's called an image transfer. And I have this beautiful paper, and I want to make a girl, and I want her hairs to have curls in it. And so I'm going to use these images right here, and I'm going to transfer it onto my page. And I'm going to use Golden Artist matte gel, but you can use gesso the same way, except for I find that the transfer isn't as sharp. The image, it's not as sharp as when you're using gel medium. You don't necessarily have to use the golden, but it's what I have on hand. And this is I'm going to show you this technique. So often I just take the gel medium and I put it on the image that I want. And this is going to take a little while because I want the images closer together, like where I would have her hair. I'm going to put it down on the paper, and it's going to stick. That one image is going to stick to the paper. It might be nice if you cut the paper, because I should have done that at first. So let's hold on. You don't have to, but since I want to do just these circles, it might be better so that I was going to do it a different way, because often when I do this image transfer, it usually doesn't have as much. So let's see where I want it. I think I want her hair to be like up here and down. So once I start doing that, and so I'm going to do a couple at a time. Not too many. I hope I cut this really close. I did. But I'm going to add a few at a time, and then I can paint in after, You just make it work. So I just want the top of them all to have these swirls in her hair. I think that's just so darling. And so when I do this, I'm just going to try to overlap little. And then the gel, usually I take like a credit card and smooth it out. But I don't want it to run into each other. I just want a few big round circles. And I don't mind doing halfies either. You see how this is? So it's looking at the images and thinking, what can I do with those images? And so I'm pasting them down backwards. I'm using the Golden matte gel matte medium, and you get a crisper image transfer this way. And so even like this has two, and so I'm just gonna, let's see, I like these ones on the edges. Maybe I'll just do this one here. Here's a small one. I really like these. I was looking at them, I'm like, oh, that would be awesome in hair. But we all have our different opinions, and we can think of different things. And I just love that how one person can think, oh, that's probably hair. And another person could think, oh no, that would be great as flowers. So this is just an easy way. And so with this one, has a lot of orange in it, and I just want the maroon, I'm really going to trim around this. Because it might really look nice on the side, actually. You know how by the ear they have smaller pieces. So you want the larger pieces on top, and then as you come down, you want the smaller pieces. And the pink will show up also, but I don't mind, because this is just going to be an imprint, you know, like, oh, I might leave it maroon, or I might decide, oh, I really want that to be a different color, so I'll go over it. So the smaller ones, you want to trim a little closer. And I just wanted to show you how to do the image transfer with the paper, because a lot of people do this with pictures. They don't realize, oh man, you know, there's a lot of unique paper out there that you can do the image transfers with that too. Here's another small one. I just want the small ones over by the ears, and we're just going to cut them out. Or if there's a beautiful flower that you see that you might think, oh man, I can't draw that flower, but you can transfer that image and then make it your own. And I think that's awesome too. I'm just trying to keep them even. I might have, yeah, I have two. So I'm going to pull out another small one, because I want two on both sides. I always buy, when I buy paper, I always get two for this reason. There might be smaller images that I might need to use, and there's only a few of them, so you get two. Okay, come on. You want to make sure you get the image really well. I haven't really transferred an image onto acrylic. So let's see. Actually, yeah, I think it will still work. If it's not, then I'll have to do another video. But that's what it is. It's all, make sure it's down and down well. You don't want it popping up. I'm just making sure it's sealed. I always rub it with something a little heavy and flat. So this is on hand, so this is what I'm going to do. This would be over by the ears. It's okay. You don't really want to get it too much on top, because then you'll end up getting some of the green, but I don't really care. I'll get some of the green on there, or whatever. It just makes it more unique. And so I'm just cutting out. It's just a good way to add that unique look into your art journaling. I don't need the whole thing. I don't need the whole thing. all those. I want to be able to paint in between, but I do want the images on there. So now you just gotta make sure it's flat. If there's no, you could use a credit card. See over on the sides, they're lifting, so you want to make sure that you don't have any sides lifting. That it's straight and it's down. Then you wait till it completely dries, and that's all I think I need. I just need the bowl, because you know, for instance, I'm going to show you, you know, the girl's face could come down and up, and she can have like a fruit bowl, you know, and never put your chin straight. Always make sure there's a curve to it. And same with, you know, your chin. You just want to, I kind of like mine pear-shaped, you know. And then you're going to think, you're going to have a bit of the air coming out here. And this is when you start messing with it. How do you want your nose? You know, I always do a little, and add the little like that. The eyes are always right across in the middle. So I just do a little line like that, and sometimes I like to add the eyebrows right away. And then the little loops. And then, of course, this is gonna just have just a, I never do it whole, you know, because if you look at everybody's eyes, I love big eyes because, you know why? Because I have big eyes, and I've noticed that when you are making people, it kind of resembles you. And I always like my eyebrows. I like them not perfect, just wigglies, and you know. And then as you're drawing, you just, this is just a rough sketch. I always kind of put a little circle right there in the mouth so that I know where the dip is, you know. But of course, it doesn't have to be, as I'm doing it, I usually change it, or I add a little gesso to it if it's not perfect. But that's like a rough sketch of what I'm going to do. You know, there's always, so now that I see this, I think that her chin is kind of too I want her chin to be a little bit lower, because you usually have, I don't mind the long neck. And so how I often fix that is I just take my white paint, I just, you know, just go over it, and, you know, just add, because you're doing layers, so it really doesn't matter. And then as you paint, you'll have exactly what you want. Because you don't want, well, I don't like big, long chins. But because be adding white anyway, and so you just make it the way you like her. And then if you like her better than, you know, you want her to be a little different, it's really okay. So I'm trying to just get this to dry, and I like to rub it to make sure that there's no rough edges or anything. So I just wanted to give you a rough, because this is a technique I'm teaching you. Some people let it dry a day. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to let it dry a day. I'm just going to keep rubbing it, let it dry just about 10 minutes, and then I'll give you an example of how to do this transfer and how you can have images. You know, you could write whatever you want in her, you know, coming down here or over there. Or her lips are kind of too curvy for me. But, you know, these are the things you fix. And I always draw it in pen because I do layers, and it really doesn't matter. Like over here, you know, I'm going to have those circles, and I'm going to add like different circles right in her hair here, so that, you know, it blends in. All right, then you take your water, you just get the top layer kind of really wet. And you got to do this with each one. You just get it real wet. And remember, the longer you let it dry, the better the image is going to come out. And I'm going to forward this a little bit. I'm probably just going to show you one. I'm just going to forward it up. I don't want to rub so hard that I rub off the image itself, though. You know, you just want to get it a little wet so the image starts transferring it onto the paper. It's not quite dry, so I'm going to have to, you know, I might have to fix this one a little, I don't know. But I'm going to let the rest of them dry. But I just wanted to show you this technique. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna post a picture of how this looks when it's done. And remember, there was a little bit of pink in the background, but it's okay because there's a little bit of pink in the background of my image. And these are the things that you have to kind of think about when you do that. Yeah, some of it's coming off because it's not completely dry. But I'm fine with that because I can, but the rest I'm going to let it dry. I just wanted to show you how to do the transfer. And so the rest I'm just going to let dry. But at least you could see how you can make the circle transfer onto the paper. And then I'll just take my pen and just fix it. I just wanted, see how clear that is right there? It's not completely dry. but I don't want it to be perfect because it's her hair. And so, yay, I'm excited about that. I like that. And so that is how you do an image transfer with your paper. So all these are just going to be circles just like this that I took from the paper. And what I'll do is I'll take my maroon pen and just fix it, because I just did this one early to show you. So I suggest that when you see images like this on your paper and you think, oh man, that would look awesome as hair, that you go ahead and do it. So when this is dry, I will come back and show you the rest of the hair. Okay, I went ahead and just highlighted some of the face the way I wanted it. You know, like I'll go through and highlight the whites and just start adding the layers and layers and layers. But right now, some of these, like the big ones, are really ready. And I'm just going to take my brush and just add some water to these big ones. And get the paper really soft. You know, I want it really wet. And I re-added one here because I wanted more of the circles. So we'll see how that comes out. And you just get it really wet. You know, start getting the paper wet. Because this paper, it's not meant to be wet like this. You know, it gets a little harder when you get. It's not going to hurt the paint at all, so don't worry about that. Unless you have a dirty brush. And I don't care if I get a little highlights in her face, because it's not going to bother me. But we're right now concentrating on this part. And just slowly try to get some of that paper off. This is the first layer. I know it's a little messy, but I love getting my hands messy. That's why I like art journaling and mixed media. Okay. It's getting there. And I like using scrapbook paper just for this purpose, because there's little images like this and they're not real. You know, like, it's not like I'm putting a dog in her hair. You know, and so we just get the top layer, but you don't want to do this unless, like, because you saw this one's really not dry yet, and so that's going to be the last one that I pull off. I just keep dipping my finger in the wet water. And I think this is going to be awesome hair. See how crisp that is? You don't want to rub it off, though, like I did to the other one. Just want to make sure it's nice and dry. So, like I said, some people, I just waited like 10 minutes because I'm impatient, but some people will just put it on the night before, go to bed, and take it off in the morning. You know, and if you think you're starting to peel it off, just stop and let it dry and do it again until all the top layer of the paper is gone and the image is crisp and clear. I'm doing it very gently. But I love these circles for hair. It's just beautiful. And I don't think I can mimic it at all. And then this way, as you're doing it, you'll know whether you need more or not as you go. And I like it because you could see the yellow underneath it from the paint, but it's nice and clear. And it's going to get even clearer as I continue to wipe the layer of paint off the top. And this is just a technique that I suggest you do, you know, just to add a little uniqueness into your art. And you know, I know not everybody would look at this and see hair. You know, I know for a fact. So I'm going to let that dry there because I don't want to peel it off. But I'm liking it. Let's see how my vision is. All the others getting soggy a bit. Doesn't need to be perfect. But it's just a layer. You know, this is a layer of her hair. And then I might go over it after with a different type of, not different color, but just fill in anything that I might have by accident lost, or make sure that it stands out a whole bunch. And so I'm only going to show you 2 of them, so you have a good, just a good example of how to do it and what it would kind of look like. And this is my technique for this month. I think sometimes it's good to watch, but sometimes it's good just to show techniques too, because then you can use your style, your uniqueness to it. I would love, love, love to see you use this technique and somehow post it on Facebook, or somehow let us see what you're doing, because we love that, you know. And how neat that is. And I can add a few small ones after. And I added here, let it go, people will forget, you know, and you are wonderful, and things like that. You can add whatever you want. I often write on my pages, you know, and I don't use I write my handwriting, you know, and I don't make like those block letters, and sometimes I do if I use stickers and stuff like that. But a lot of times I do just write. And so there is 2 crisp images. I'll go around it after to make sure the paper is off. And look at that. That's going to be her hair, part of her hair. You know, I just want to do it all, but it will take too long. So this is an image transfer, and you can use your scrapbook papers and different images for different things. Like if you wanted a shirt like this, you know, you could take a shirt and, you know, fill it up, or if you wanted the background like that. There's just so many ways that you can use this technique, and I'd love, love, love somehow for you to show me what you're doing. Thank you for watching, and seriously, have a wonderful day. We absolutely enjoy you at Robin's Nest. We love to read your comments and see what you create. Thank you.